KP from Ireland. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you, and thank you for all who are sharing the live. That does seem to be helping. KP says your content really helped me a few years ago. Thank you. Well, I'm glad you're here. Really do appreciate that. Hi, Ipsy Daisy. How are you? How you doing? How's all your kitty cats? How's life treating you? I hope it's going well. It's good to see you in here. I was just talking about my the weather changing and just waiting to see who else would join us. We were having some robust lives last week until it looks like I'm going to get, imagine that, I'm going to get suppressed. Hi, Sue Ellen. Hi there. I'm glad you're here. I just wrote a video script talking about, what do y'all think about what's going on with, now I'm not a Swiftie, so I'm going to just give you, not because I don't like her, I just, maybe it's my age or something, I don't know, but there's a lot of negativity going on that's kind of not only about the lyrics, but her ability to sing and things like that. And I also saw some stuff about, they expected this album to say something about Trump saying how much he hated her, which didn't happen. So that's been an interesting thing to follow and to listen to people who are frustrated about this. So anybody got thoughts on that? Anything else you want to talk about? Lots going on in the news. My goodness. I haven't even looked at the news about Trump speaking at the Naval Academy yesterday, but I heard the speech was bonkers. I just read Heather Cox Richardson this morning, and she said the speech was absolutely bonkers. Bonkers is the word she used, not really. I'm putting words in her mouth, so don't listen to me. Just listen to me. MAGA trying to cause good trouble. Oh, I put words in there. MAGA trying to cause trouble. That's like the theme of the week, or is there a specific comment there? World's mine. We'll see where that goes. Jessica says TS doesn't have to make a statement. Well, I mean, there's different perspectives on what she does and doesn't have to do. Yes, Sue Ellen, the whole thing about the invasion of our cities is very, very concerning. And I do believe that the reason this is happening is to start some kind of racial tension, which is why they targeted the building in Chicago. With no evidence going in saying that they're trying to infiltrate and annihilate gang activity with no evidence. So anytime you are separating people based on the color of their skin and you're zip tying kids, this is terrifying because you're trying to ignite some kind of tension so that you can justify your actions. Tanya says, we can't look up to pop stars. Her job is entertainment. Yeah, absolutely. Tanya, and I'm sorry. I think you told me how to say your name, and I apologize if I'm misspeaking. I agree with you, but to the point where we are in this, just almost tipping over into, most of us agree that this is as close to fascism if we aren't already in a fascist existence. So when you look at those pivotal moments in our history from even starting at World War II up into the other crises, how people with influence use their voices to ignite change. And Taylor has contributed to that already. When she endorsed Kamala, the voting registrations went through the roof. She alone was responsible for millions of people registering to vote just because she put the link to vote.gov on her website and she talked about it. So she certainly has done a lot inside that realm of using her celebrity, using her status to try to impact change. I think what the creators were, and most of who I've seen who've been critical are Black and brown creators. So when it comes to that, and I'm sitting here as a white woman, I want to be really cautious about making sure that I'm not suffocating their voices and what they're expressing their frustration. And again, it certainly can be, both things can be true. And what bucket do you put artistry? What bucket do you put artistry when the tensions are this high? When we have the military going in, when the National Guard has been militarized, and things have started to change so significantly in this country, where all voices matter. So to me, it's a conversation that needs to happen, because I think it also can trickle down. In my mind, when it comes to Taylor and some of these other bigger creator or bigger artists, she's almost untouchable. I mean, she made $52 million last year. $52 million. That money's not going to go anywhere. So at what point is she going to be canceled? She's not. She lives on a completely different realm than the rest of us. She's reached that billionaire status where she doesn't need any approval to just exist. So some of that conversation is moot, but what it does do is trickle down to just the average creator who does rely on their existence, is almost day by day on how their income is generated based on the brand or the profile that they have created. And that is a really fine line. I guarantee you there are creators right here on this app who wake up every day and fear that they got canceled overnight. And I'm not necessarily saying it's right or it's wrong, but at what cost is the silence? And if we're saying that there's a niche for just artists to be able to live above the tension, then who gets to decide that? Who gets to decide that value of that artist is such that they get to be kept up where they're untouchable versus others who don't? And people will disagree on that, especially the people who don't like Taylor, who don't like her music, who don't like her as an artist. So I think that is the conversation. Yeah, Sue Ellen, I did. The judge's house burning, I haven't heard much. I heard that there was suspicion. Lala, Lan, thank you so much for being here. And thank you for the gift. I can't see what it is. My camera is a little blurry right now. I haven't heard if they have determined that it is arson. I haven't been talking about defunding the police, and if you're talking about, just watch Greg. When you're talking about disruptive language, about defunding the police, when you talk about Black Lives Matter, when you talk about love your neighbor, these are radical statements intended to ignite change. It's intended to disrupt the norm, awaken people, agitate people, which it certainly seems to have done with Greg and other people, to say that the system, the policing system, is built upon a systemic program that was racist. And so it was built, if you look back in the history of policing in our country, you can see how it was organized and what its intents were back from the Civil War up through the 20s and into the 50s and 60s. So there's a vein of that inside the language and the biases and the assumptions that are made when people are trained within those systems. So defunding programs that still stigmatize and believe certain things about people based on their color of their skin is the conversation we need to be having, and looking at the outrageous rates of incarceration and imprisonment based on the color of your skin. And those numbers will tell you that Black people are arrested and profiled at a much greater rate than white people, even though they're not the majority of the population. Hello, Elsa. Thank you for being over at the Tube of the U. Don't forget, if you're not following me over on the Tube of the U, please do, because we don't know how long we're going to be here on this app. And I've already made the decision that I won't be going to the other than just probably securing my name and seeing what I do with it. Tanya says, but at what point does things get exhausting? I'm not sure what you mean, Tanya. Please tell me what you mean. Please elaborate. Good Citizen says, so explain to me how predominantly black police horses are racist. Police horses? What? What are we talking about there? Don't be insulting about certain things. Hey, Rosie. Hey, Rosie, how are you? America was never great and is only going backwards. Yeah, hippie. There's definitely that. Police departments. Yeah, I've already said everything I want to say about that today. We can get into a conversation when I decide to have guests, but I'm not doing that today. I'm only having a short live. Good Citizen, you can come back. Hi, Badass. Oh, Tanya, to continue to speak up about the government as Taylor Swift. That's a little, can you give me part 1 and part 2? Good Citizen, you don't follow me, sweetie. I don't know why you're getting so worked up. You don't even follow me. What are you talking about? I criticize people every time you don't understand. You act like you know me. You don't know me. Has to be extremely exhausting. Yeah. So, yeah, I agree with you, Tanya, that it is exhausting. But I think it's more exhausting for those of us who live in it every day than it is for Taylor. I think anybody that's reached that kind of status, I don't think she's thinking about this every day. I don't think she's seeing the conversations that are happening. Elsa says, do I watch sports over on Tube of the U? Yes, a little. I tolerate a little. I'm really into soccer because I have a lot of grandsons who play soccer. Thank you for sharing the live. Thank you so much for continuing to like and share. That does show TikTok that you are hopefully enjoying this little conversation that we're having here. I really appreciate that. So Elsa, what's your question over on Tube of the U about sports? Was there something that you wanted to ask me about that? What would you like to say? Everybody's quiet today. I'm kind of quiet too. Thank you, read books, burn fascists. I like that. I like your username. Thank you so much. I'm a little subdued today. I think I'm just a little tired. Let's see what... Hey, it's me, Lorna. Hi, it's good to see you. Always good to see you. Thank you for continuing the conversation. It's so important. Thank you. And Gregus says, hi, Rev Karla, deconstructed years ago, huge follower. Thank you so much. Hi, Holly. I'm glad you're here as well. It's just a real casual one. I'm just drinking my sparkling ice. Does anybody like these? I'm drinking way too much during the day. I mean of these. Love seeing you alive. Thank you, Lizzie. I really hope to come here more. Rosie says that Chicago Police Department is 489% black. Yeah, we could have a really good conversation on that. Kyle, is that who I think it is? Kyle, oh my gosh. I was thinking about you the other day. I'm pulling up your profile. I'm pretty sure this is, yes. Hi. I got your profile up now. I was thinking about you the other day because I think the last time I saw you, you were going to run for office. How did that go for you? I hope you're doing well. Yeah, Sherry, we're all tired, not sleeping well. Just give yourself just as much as you can, give yourself some space and some grace. And I know that means for many of us, well, good luck with that. You got a job. You got a life. You got things that you have to take care of. But even if that means that you can just stop for a minute and take a couple more sips of your coffee and just take some big breaths before you begin your day, and know that so many of us are in the same place as you. That we're feeling this heaviness. It's hard to even get motivated in the morning. Kyle says, I lost race to the council. Unfortunately, I'm now the local NAACP chapter president in my county. Congratulations, Kyle. Kyle is a poet. And if you're not following Kyle, please do. He's approaching 200 followers on TikTok. Please go follow Kyle. They deserve so much more attention for the work that they do. I'm so glad you came in here. Let's see. Hummingbird says, P. Hummingbird, that's probably what you're saying. Portland is seeing right-wing agitators trying to start fights. Many brought weapons. That's exactly right. And this isn't surprising. I think we know what their operation is. They don't know what to do because they're trying to agitate some kind of race war. That's exactly what they're trying to do. So then they can justify using weapons and violence. And then they can start saying that they can justify bringing in the military into these towns. Yes, good. You have a couple people who followed you, Kaz. Thank you so much. Thank you, I'm so glad you're here. Lori says, I'm ashamed to admit it that the current administration is at times testing my faith. I feel ashamed. Yeah, I have people tell me, Lori, I don't know if you know that I did finally let go of my Christian identity. I'm no longer a Christian. I'm still very much spiritual, but not religious, and spiritually curious, if you will. And I certainly still try to seek the understanding of Jesus just outside the construct or framework of Christianity, because for me, it has become so tainted and poisoned by my experience. And when I say something like that, I'll often have people say, well, you just gave up. You never were around real Christians. You were never real Christian. You never had the faith. You made your religion too political. And I'm telling you, when has Christianity not been political? I'm not the person who made Christianity political. The person who made Christianity political are the people like the popes, Jerry Falwell, King Henry VIII, anybody a long time ago who decided that having power meant you had to control what people believed. It was all powerful men at one time or another decided that the best way to control people was to not only control how they lived, how they existed in the framework of that government structure, but also what they believed. And when you could mix those two together, then it became a melting pot of how you control them, how you gaslight them, how you manipulate them, how you control their funds. And so coming from the evangelical Southern Baptist heritage and witnessing this through, especially, I'm a child of the 60s. I know what the public education was like. I saw what happened when Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated. I was there. I witnessed how white people responded to his assassination. I remember what people used to say about Malcolm X. I remember how much people despised Muhammad Ali because he was a conscientious objector of the war. So you can't tell me that the intersection of government and religion happened because I made it happen. It's always been there, and it's been tolerated. But now that it's come to the forefront, whether you're a Christian who wants to double down as a Christian nationalist, which many of them are right now, they're just out loud and proud being Christian nationalists, or you want to, Lynette, I see the question, I'll get to it, or you want to say, well, I don't mix politics and religion, so I'm going to, that abstains me, absolves me from using my voice, both of those positions are problematic. In this day and age, for me, both of those positions are problematic, especially for white people, because there's not one white person in this country who hasn't benefited from some part of that Christian patriarchal structure. So it is our responsibility to use our voice in the way, in as much as we can, to help dismantle this. And my superpowers come from being untethered from Christianity. Whatever people think about me, that also gave me a reason to no longer care. I mean, I struggled with it for a long time because it's like part 2 of my book that's not even in my book. Whether I write about it in the future, I don't know. Right now, we have so much work to do that we have to continue to do it. Like Rosie says here. Exactly. So we have to speak out. We have to speak out. We have to learn to use the resources that we have. So for many of us that have these larger platforms, I feel that it is my responsibility. I wish I could just go get my Christian Karen blonde wig, which I don't even know where it is. My grandson's found it, and it was running all over the house this weekend. I wish I could make every video funny. And I'm really glad that there are people who can still do that, because we need relief. We need relief from some of this. But because as a minister, I think I can. If I do this, Lynette, I'm going to bring Rosie up. And that means I'm not sure you're going to be able to hear her on Tube of the U. Can you see me?
Yes, I can see you.
Can everybody hear Rosie?
I'm getting some weird flashing on your screen.
You are?
That's weird.
See, my computer is not happy with me using the live stream. Rosie, they can hear you.
Okay.
How about on Tube of the U? Can you all hear Rosie? Let me
Hi,
see.
Tube of the U.
Let me turn you up. All right.
Gosh.
That might help. It might just be that you might have to be in the room for a minute, because I don't think we have that part set up yet. But hi.
That's fine.
They can hear you. They can hear you.
Okay.
I don't know what we did.
It's magic.
Thank you. Hey, it's me, Lorna. Go check it out. Oh, my goodness. Thank you for the Interstellar. That was beautiful. Thank you so much for the gifts. So, Rosie, you and I were having this conversation the other day about using the gifts to the extent that we can. Do you want to share some more about that?
Well, I just, there's a couple people in the comments, and I'm not trying to pick on you, but you're saying you're scared, you're saying you're anxious, you're worried about where we are right now, but yet you're on the largest, most influential video platform that they've been trying to shut down for 5 years, and your page is blank. And I have heard every excuse in the world. Oh, I don't have a big platform. Well, I can tell you that Karla and I both started speaking out when we had 1 follower or 0 followers. That's not a good excuse. And your voice is so much more powerful than you have any idea about. The reach that your voice can go is profound. But you need to use your voice, Lori. You need to say your truth.
Mm-hmm.
And people say, well, I'm afraid for my family and my whatever. Karla, when has social justice work ever been safe?
Never.
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 The civil rights movement certainly wasn't safe. Kent State wasn't safe. The Vietnam protests weren't safe. If you're looking for safe, you need to be just sitting down on the sidelines and being quiet. Seriously.
Yes.
I mean, I was trained in Minneapolis for when Operation Rescue came, and we were taught locking arms, locking legs, literally people in your face, spitting in your face, and how you would not react.
Yeah.
That's not safe. You know?
Yeah, there's, let's see, they count on somebody, hey, it's me, Lorna said on Tube of the U, they count on people not speaking out. I think that's 100% what they're
exactly.
They hope that we stay immobilized, paralyzed in fear. And we do understand that this is really scary. Not one of us ever thought we would be in a position where we have to start thinking about having conversations with our family, which I just did with mine, that if I disappear, here's what you need to know. That's a scary conversation to have. But to me, it's better now to be prepared. Why do we have insurance? Why do we do the things that we do to protect ourselves? If in as much as when we're in these times of tension, we don't do the same thing. We don't think about what ifs, but not go crazy about them. Not be so upset that we're paralyzed in fear. I think the last video of Jane Goodall, that I don't know if any of you have seen any video clips where she talks about putting Musk and Trump and President Xi and Putin on a spaceship. Have people seen that?
No,
one?
I didn't see that.
Oh my gosh. So I saw it over on Substack. It's going crazy over there, but there's a video coming out of Jane Goodall, and I think it's going to be on Netflix, where her one of her wishes, if she could, would be that she can put those 4 men on a spaceship and get them out of here. And then she goes on to talk about, they told her, said, this video will air after you pass. What do you want to tell the world? And she said, you matter. You matter. Your voice matters. What your life matters. Find what you need to do and go do it. Find that passion, find that heart link. One of my friends used to say all the time, go towards that which breaks your heart. And every one of us knows what that is. Find every time you hear the story, the tears well up, because you know that there's something out there. And when enough people are moved towards activism in that way, change happens. The diagram of the big fish swimming towards the little fish. But when the big fish when the little fish come together and turn on the big fish, they're outnumbered.
Yeah.
And that's what this is. And so individually, it's really scary and it can feel isolating, but we are one of millions out here. We are one of millions. So find what you can do and do it. It could be writing cards. It could be doing a phone bank. It could be giving whatever you can to help people staff a phone bank. Those things are making a difference. And so anything when I'm talking about this or educating you on something, I want you to always remember, it is not to paralyze you. It's to activate you, to say, now, see what's happening. We're going to be realists here. This is really serious, but it's not going to paralyze us. We have to keep knowing that good will prevail when good people are moved into action.
And if you are scared on social media, don't put your real government name as your username. I mean, for heaven's sakes, that's not safe. I've worked in a grade school, and that is one of the lessons that they teach second graders. You don't do that.
Yeah.
Now, I'm discoverable. You're discoverable too. But I'm not worried about that.
It's too late
for me. If you don't like your voice, you don't have to have your voice on there. TikTok now has slide videos. I have had people literally write me novels through direct message. And I'm like, put that out on your page, and they won't do it. And to me, that's so frustrating. Or the ones that want to send you a million things to repost. A lot of it's really traumatic. And I can't do all of it, and then they won't do any.
Yeah. Yeah, we can't do it all, and I'm being really careful about how what it is I can talk about. There are certain things that's happening right now, like I can't get educated on the financial side of things. Even I know that, like, the economy is really stressed, the price of groceries, all those things. I cannot talk about that. What I can talk about is the destruction of human rights, because it fits right in with that intersection of religion and government control and white supremacy, because I've lived it. I've been in tent revivals since I was 9 years old, listening to these preachers. Yeah, I've lived it my entire life. So, but other things, I have to keep myself, I have to stay focused on what I can talk about.
Well,
Even
and it is it's talk about like what your expertise is.
yeah.
That does help. I mean, I can talk about news stories and politics. I was not a poli science major. I mean, there's under the desk news. There's a lot of people on here who do politics a lot better than I do. So I'm, trying to do some comedy and things like that, but I still talk about social issues. The ones that are close to my heart are schools and things like that.
Oh yeah, and I think your blend is perfect. Gary on religion, thank you, Rev Karla. Appreciate your work. Thank you so much. And I saw a comment, and I wasn't quite sure. Oh, your sweet shenanigans. It's so good to see you. Takes a team, all of us together. Absolutely. Okay, thank you for. With Google Photos, they can find you if they want to. Yeah, I've heard a couple of stories about people who you want to be really careful about taking your regular phone with you if you're going out of the country. Coming back in can be problematic. At this point, you just have to, like I said, you want to make sure that you have good insurance in your life. You have good insurance about how you're protecting yourself and your family as this continues to develop, but also as things continue to change. Rosie, a while ago, someone had asked me about mocking the defunding police movement, and you put a stat up there. Is that something you're comfortable talking about?
No, well, sure. The one I was trying, there was a guy in here talking about predominantly African American. I think you blocked him. Talking about predominantly African American police forces, and he mentioned Chicago, and I messed it up. It was Chicago's police force is 9% African American. So
Okay.
it's not one. So
Yeah. Okay, thank
and with
you.
defunding the police, a lot of people don't understand what we're talking about. So.
Yeah, I would, and those things don't just roll off my tongue. I have a bunch of research on my, but I'd have to dig it up before I could speak eloquently about it. So like I said, there's going to be some things that I'm just not going to be able to talk about here.
Well, and just in general, I mean, it's not saying that we're not going to have a police force, but it's shocking when, I worked as a special education paraeducator, and I have more training in de-escalation than the average police officer. I do think police officers should have a minimum of an associate's degree in criminology. I don't think that they should have a 6-week training course. You have to have more training to be a cosmetologist in Omaha than a police officer. Mm-hmm. And that's not okay. We need them if there is a mental health crisis. Like yesterday, there was a lady walking down my street. She was obviously, she was screaming about being homeless. She was obviously on something, and it was not good. And I said, I did call for help, but I said, this is a mental health crisis. I hope that they sent somebody out who helped her, because I was worried she would hurt herself or somebody else. Mm-hmm. But we don't have teams like that. And, just recently, Terrence Bud Crawford is the undisputed middleweight boxing champion, and he's from Omaha. So he won the big thing, and we had a big parade for a black boxer. That night, they had an after party, and at 1:30 in the morning, he was 2 blocks from that club. They got pulled over for reckless driving, and every single one of them were yanked out of that car at pew-pew. Because the police officer said that he saw a pew-pew on the floor of the car. Well, Bud is licensed, and so is his security guard who was with him. They are legal conceal and carry permits. And strangely enough, the only thing they were cited for was reckless driving. So if you had an unsecured pew-pew in your car in Omaha, that's $1,000 fine. And it's a misdemeanor. So guess there wasn't one. So they got pulled over for being black. And that's a problem with police forces.
Yeah, absolutely. Driving while black is a big problem.
And we had just given him the key to the city.
That's so...
He had a parade, a key to the city, and then got pulled over for being black. It's like, oh my God.
It's embarrassing. It is.
It is.
Very
and
much.
I mean, I grew up in an era I grew up in North Omaha, where I live now, and they always taught us, oh, if you're in trouble, call a police officer. The police would come to our grade school, and oh, we're here to help. I live in North Omaha, which is predominantly African American. It's about 60% African American, and I would not call the police for one of my neighbors unless they ask me, because they'll probably grab them and throw them on the pavement and think they're the culprit. So,
yeah, I have a situation here that I'm not free to talk about, but when I can, I'll share a harrowing story of what happened to one of my friends. I've shared some things about them before with you, Rosie, and I'll have to wait until more of this is developed. But we do have a question. I want to get your thoughts on this. What do you think the intersectionality lies with sports and preserving patriarchy? What are the political forces at play? You want me to go with this? You want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so the only thing I think that what came to mind for me is there seems to be the NFL has just speaking about the NFL has an image issue, and I think that's what with Rihanna, Kendrick Lamar, and now Bad Bunny, I think they're trying to rebrand themselves as being more diverse, more accepting, more tolerant because of the Colin Kaepernick situation. And I don't think that can ever be undone, how much they did not stand behind him because of his convictions and beliefs, and trying to raise awareness the way he did. So that definitely is, patriarchy is much more deeper than just what we have in sports in America, but it's perpetuated because that is the primary system of hierarchical structure. The other part of that is when you think about things like Travis Kelce or Patrick Mahomes, am I saying his name right? Mm-hmm. The people that sit on the edge of politics, but you also know that they very much more align with even more extremist conservative, probably in the radicalized. I think even his wife has been, again, this is stuff I read about, but I'm not knowledgeable, has said some things that have undertones that she's a Trump supporter. So I think that is probably pervasive. So how that plays out inside the actual structure and how people are valued, or how that structure, I don't know. I don't have any other than the outside looking in. And I just think it's really interesting that the last three performers have been, to me, they feel like a rebranding of the NFL to show them to be something that I don't think they are. I'm happy for the entertainment. I love it, but I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. I think patriarchy is very much a part of our systems in church, in schools, in families. Unless there is a strong woman who's valued inside that system, who can start to educate about the dangers of patriarchy, that they understand that a more egalitarian system is it's a healthier, more accepting way to be, and you're not going to see that for a while. Not when white Christian men are the primary leaders that are propped up, protected, the voice of America, romanticized as the leaders, and women are very much still devalued. And then when you look at Black, Indigenous, and people of color, and how they are even farther down that patriarchal structure, it's just very, very, very challenging. Rosie, you have anything to add about that?
Well, the whole thing with, I like sports, but from the earliest ages, you see in schools that the boys' sports are more important than anything else. The Friday Night Lights, the football team, the baseball team, all of that. They think Title IX is DEI. And, like when I was in school, we had a basketball player named Mortice Ivy. She still lives in North Omaha, and she's a fantastic person. And she took us to state every single year. And we won state every year in girls basketball because of Mortice. If we had had the WNBA, she would have been a multimillionaire. But I mean, that's the whole thing. It's sort of like you feel devaluated. Like, oh, we'll let you have a soccer team, but you certainly won't get paid the same as the boys.
Mm-hmm.
So your value is less, and that they're just kind of like, I don't know, placating.
Yeah.
So it's never seemed equitable to me at all.
Well, when you look at also, I just had to look it up because I remember Lee Elder was the first golfer who was a black golfer who was allowed to play at the Masters in 1975. Mm-hmm. So, I was 14.
That's our lifetime.
I know. I was 14 years old when that happened. So you think about that. And they did honor him a couple of years ago, but you still think about what that must have been. Somebody who was an elite golfer that only based on the color of his skin was he not allowed to play golf.
And women weren't allowed in the Boston Marathon.
Yeah. Oh, remember the first one who ran and she got water poured on her?
And she had to run away from the race official?
Yeah. Yeah, who tried to stop her. I mean, it just...
And then you remember the Billie Jean King, you remember when she played, oh God, who was it? It was a male tennis player. Bobby. And she kicked his butt.
Yeah.
And she was just expressionless. It's like, you want to say that you're a better tennis player, you know what? Bring it.
Thank you, badass. Bobby Riggs.
Bobby Riggs, yeah.
I was going to say Bobby River.
That was also in my lifetime. I mean, that's the stuff we were seeing.
So Title IX came into be about 2 years before I was in high school. And we get to share the gym, but we had to do it at 5 a.m. to play basketball. And the janitor would oftentimes be purposefully late because he didn't like the idea of even girls being able to use the gym at all. But for us to still play, we had to go at 5 a.m. And then we got a lecture from our history teacher, who was the boys basketball coach, about how much Title IX was hurting the boys because they had to share the gym. And we just felt awful that all those farm boys just weren't getting as much gym time because that was the most important thing, at the time. So there's a lot of healing that needs to happen when it comes to that. That'll be the last part. I mean, I don't see that changing for a long time. Coach Joe says, didn't the first woman to run the Boston Marathon, was she arrested? I know she was accosted. I don't know if she was actually...
One of the race officials tried to stop her, but her husband actually helped her run away from him. And she did complete the race. Yeah,
that's true. Well, I have to get ready for a soccer game with my
Yeah, I gotta go to the post office.
Okay, dear. We'll come back and see me sometime. Okay.
Well, and thank you for letting me up. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I just was like, I wanted to put my 2 cents in, and it is sad that we're dealing with the patriarchy.
You're welcome anytime.
All right. Well, thanks. You have a good day now, sweetie.
Okay, love you. Love you. Okay, we have one follow-up question I just saw from Elsa on the sports. You said, do you think Taylor Swift engagement to Travis Kelce is a push towards what will eventually be an egalitarian NFL? I don't think it's going to be egalitarian for a long time. I did see a take on that where that said that the fact that there was an undertone of the NFL over that engagement, the way she announced her album on the podcast with his brother and he was with her, whether or not that's part of the branding, I don't know, and we're not going to know. We're not going to know what's going on there, but there's some really interesting takes. If you just want to stay on TikTok and search Taylor Swift critics or something like that. You're going to get a real education, and I really invite you to listen to the Black creators who are talking about this there, because it goes way beyond the lyricism, but it is more about the aesthetics and what they view as what this album could have done for this point in time. And again, that goes back to this badass. I agree with you. It goes back to this the activist voice with celebrity status. And boy, that conversation has a lot of people divided, and it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. All right, beautiful souls, thank you so much for being here. I'm sorry this is going to be a short live today, but I hopefully, knock on wood and crossing my fingers, we'll be back very soon to talk more. I appreciate you all. Now remember, I know it's heavy. I know you're worried, but worry can never lead to you becoming paralyzed. Turn your worry into action. Turn your worry into hope. Remember that good people bend the arc of the moral universe towards kindness and compassion. It's always going there. Does collective humanity go through times where it's incredibly painful? But we are together. We are powerful. Together we are mighty, and we are unstoppable. We must change our mindset. No matter how bad it looks, we can change this. It's going to take all of us too, committed to do it for ourselves, for our children, and for our children's children. Take care of yourself. Drink a big glass of water, and try as best as you can to take care of yourself. We need you strong, focused, committed, and activated. Much love to you all. I'll see you all very soon. Thank you. All right, YouTube. Thank you so very much as well. And I will see you. I don't know. I'm hoping I can come back tomorrow. I think I can. Much love to you all. Bye for now.